Okay, Andy.
Grim night with the Italian barroom lighting.
What can you tell me about your new album, Songwriter?
Cheers.
Cheers.
What can I tell you about Songwriter?
Yeah.
Well, I collected the songs for a long time, for the last 4 or 5 years, and I wrote them with a series of friends. The album before, I wrote just on my own, and it took a very short amount of time. I just read On the Road Again, and I went with the first thought, best thought way of writing. For the last one, I took a long time to record it. I went to America, I went to England, and Australia, and Alaska, and even Vancouver. And a very old friend of mine, John Leckie, said he'd produce it. He loved the songs. He said, let's just throw all your ideas at the record. And we did, and it was GarageBand. And this one was written over a much longer period of time and recorded much more quickly in a few days. Well, probably about 2 weeks in all. And mixed in Canada. We recorded and mixed it in Canada. Yeah.
So it was mixed in Canada. Last time it was mixed in Italy. What are some of your favorite songs? The songs are quite differently, they're quite different from the other songs. You feel that. What has caused that change in the writing?
Well, when you write with somebody else, I used to write all my albums myself. Only a very few songs were co-written. But when you write with somebody else, you're immediately, you're living their life as well as your own. You're telling their stories as well as your story. And you have to be much more careful about exactly what word you're going to use. And even if you're not, the other person, the other girl or the other guy is going to tell you what they think about everything. So in one way, it's got to be much more carefully written, and it's got to be approved by two people. So one reason I enjoyed GarageBand so much was that I didn't have to do any of that. But another way is that I'm very confident about the songs. I'm confident about the way they're written and the form and structure and the way that they're recorded, because they're recorded in a very traditional way with a band playing live in a studio, much like I did my earliest records. In fact, it actually sounds not so much like my first album or third album. It sounds like the band I had when I had my third album out, which is funny. That's what people said in Northern Ireland when I was there and it had just come out. They said, "This sounds like your band sounded in 1990." It's taken me a long time to make a record actually sound like that.
So, did you enjoy this new process of writing with other people?
It drives you insane a lot of the time. It drives you insane because you end up with a really good friend of yours sitting in front of each other arguing about whether you should use the word for or to or maybe by or with. It's got to be with, not by. Or you should put and in there, or no, it cannot have and in there. But a lot of the time it's not like that. A lot of the time it's just you're getting more and more ideas. You've got one set of ideas and some friend is coming in and giving you more and more. Yeah, like that's how If You Want It was started. Because I had the chorus, if you want it, come and get it. This is the last long evening on the planet. I had the chords. Alison, who wrote with me, is just an amazing writer. She has so many ideas, lyrical ideas, that she's throwing them at you. And it's a case of just sorting them out and trying to cope with two people who write a lot of words in their songs. So it's a case of trying to actually cut it down rather than to find the last line you want. Stephen Faring, who wrote The Temperature of Love with me, and Faithful Heart, he's kind of the opposite, because he would wait for 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months to find the right line that he wants. And we've written lots and lots of songs. A lot of songs for one of his groups called Black and the Rodeo Kings. And I've written If I Catch You Crying, which is on Boy 40's, written with him. And he's probably the opposite of Alison, where she wants to get all the words right, but comes out with lots and lots and lots, whereas he's very particular about the ones he comes out with. And thinks I'm crazy because the lyrical stuff that I put in songs, But that's good because you're challenging each other. So that's two examples of like sort of different ways they were written. So all the songs were written completely differently, and then I wrote some myself. Yeah.
So how do you compare the songs you wrote yourself and with the songs you wrote with other people? Do you feel that there is any good development, bad development in writing with other people?
They're so much better. No, they're not. They're just written differently. Like when I come back, want to hear the Beatles for the first time. A Hard Day's Night in '64, John, Paul, and George Ringo laughing. There you go. There's not, I just come out with that. I wrote this song very, very quickly. People always ask what different ways people write songs. They always ask, do the words come first or the music come first? That's the most common question people ask. And there's no real right answer because it either can happen for me or both at the same time. And the most wonderful thing is when everything happens at the same time, and it's very rare. But for that song, When I Come Back, that happened all at the same time. I wrote the whole thing out very quickly. And when that happens, you have no need or no desire for anybody else to co-write. You just think, this is what I've said, this is it. A song called Lisa and Boy 40 was like that. A lot of the garage band songs were like that. James Joyce's Grave was like that, I just wrote it. The Colour of Love of Out There was like that. Reality Row was like that. Like a lot of my songs are like that. So when I do that, I don't really feel the need to ask anybody else to co-write.
How has your playing changed because you have recorded in different places and written new songs with other people? Are there any changes in the way that you approach guitar playing, for example?
Guitar playing? Well, I mean, I still just play the same chords, but I think I play them better in more different ways. What I like is changing the sounds of the guitar rather than the chords. And I play lots of guitar on the records, and everybody just has the idea of you playing an acoustic guitar and you play C, G, and A. But on all the records since the very first one, I've played loads of electric guitar on them actually, and stacks, like all of the garage band ones. This record, I've got a brilliant electric guitar player on it. He arrived to play bass. I thought this guy called Paul Rigby, who's in Nico Case's band in Canada, he's really amazing. Well, he's an amazing musician. I heard him play bass for a friend of mine, so I asked him to come and play bass. But as soon he brought everything with him, all his guitars, pedal steel stuff. And as soon as I heard him play guitar, I was knocked out. So then I took the bass, but I grew up playing the bass, so that suited me. The bass is the best instrument for me, it's my favourite thing. On all the records, my favourite thing is always the bass.